Hi everyone, I am excited that you are joining me as we study the history of Barcelona, primarily the Spanish Civil War, through different forms of arts such as visual arts, films, music, and literature. I chose to look at Barcelona through the problem lens of art because I wanted to capture the emotional impact of events that cannot be covered in a textbook. Fictional books and films may even present a more realistic and relatable story. The art of fiction is that it connects to aspects of reality, creating a sense of familiarity and truth. The artwork of Picasso, Gaudi, Miro also relates to Spaniards and the post-Civil War era by telling a story through the choice of colors and tones. Political music after the Civil War represented how many were feeling and provided a strong platform for others to listen and familiarize themselves with. The history of Barcelona can only be told through the eyes of art. Location on our tour of the arts. First location on our tour of the arts of Barcelona is Reial Academia Catalana de Belles Arts de Sant Jordi, formerly known as La Llotja, which was the Barcelona art school that Pablo Picasso attended. So, who exactly was Pablo Picasso? The famous artist is known for having a wide range of artistic styles, distinguishing himself from other artists from his time. He was born in Malaga in the south of Spain and moved to Barcelona in 1885. He spent a lot of his childhood in Barcelona and truly developed significantly as an artist. So this is where the location is. And I have an image of his academy as well in my description down below. In honor of Picasso, our second destination is the Barcelona Picasso Museum, which showcases and guides people through his early work. His development of art is separated by different periods, such as the Rose period, the African influence, Cubism, Neoclassicism, Surrealism, and sculpture. In 1937, during the Spanish Civil War and World War II, Picasso created a powerful political statement titled Guernica. In this oil painting, Picasso painted the impact of the war using dark, somber colors such as blue, black, and white. The individuals in the painting represent all Spaniards, specifically innocent people whose lives are being taken away from them. This piece of art was created in reaction to the bombing practice that the Nazis caused on the Basque town of Guernica. When his artwork was brought to the world's attention, it became an anti-war symbol and showcased a strong political message that can speak true to all wars. And here you can see where the Picasso Museum is located in our city walk, and here's an image of it, and it's really pretty. To continue our admiration of the visual arts, we will now be visiting the Foundation of Joan Miró, located on the hill Montjuïc in Barcelona. This is where it's located. This is the image of the museum. And so this foundation holds Joan Miró's famous works of art in honor of him. Joan Miró was another well-known artist of his time who, in 1934, 2 years before the war began, predicted that there will be great loss of life soon because of the significant political division of the country. The division was between the nationalists, who are in favor of the monarchy, and the Republican forces, who are in favor of communism and anarchy. During this time, the artist decided to abandon his approach on two-dimensional art with plain colors and started a new type of art with more developed array of colors. He used his use of bold pastel colors represented the angst and despair that many Spaniards were experiencing and how he was feeling personally as he was going through an existential crisis of his own. Our next destination on the map is La Sagrada Familia, which is a church that is intricately designed with interior pillars that resemble tree trunks in its branches and leaves that extend into the ceiling. This church was designed by Antoni Gaudí, who left a beautiful and meaningful imprint on Barcelona. Gaudí was a Catalan architect who was part of the modernist movement and created buildings from a naturalistic approach. Growing up, he developed arthritis, inhibiting him from being able to play with his friends, so he spent a lot of time by himself in nature, absorbing the beauty of it. He spent the rest of his life on earth building the church, but unfortunately did not finish his creation when he tragically passed away due to a tram accident in 1926. Shortly after, the Civil War began, and all documents, models, and plans for Sagrada Familia were lost. However, later in the 1950s, awareness was brought back to Gaudi's astonishing work, and architects now continue to dedicate their time building the beautiful church. Although the Spanish Civil War brought division among its inhabitants, Gaudi's legacy brought unity to Barcelona through nature and beauty. We will now be leaving the realm of the visual arts and entering the dimension of fictional literature. In the novel Nada, the main character, Andrea, comes to Barcelona to seek education and freedom. However, her family and the environment in which she lives is quite the opposite of what she was hoping to find. Referring to the home, which is located on Arabao Street, which is the street you see here, and just a little side note, on Google Maps, it comes up as Carrer de Arabao, and Carrer is a different word for street instead of calle, which also means street in Spanish, but Carrer is in Catalonian, which people in Barcelona speak Catalonian, which is a different community inside of Spain, which is something I learned through my research of Barcelona, which I found was really interesting. So besides the point, so this is where Andrea and her extended family lived, like I had mentioned. And from page 9 in the book, I found a quote that resembles how the house looked, and she stated that the illuminated twinkling of the stars brought back in a rush all my hopes regarding Barcelona until the moment I entered this atmosphere of perverse people and furniture. So in a broken home that was so severely affected by the war, it is difficult to see signs of them moving forward and being hopeful. Instead, they seem to be hopeless and stuck in the past. And so basically, her family was very affected by the war, and they were kind of living in the post-war era where their furniture was tarnished and not taken care of. Their house was very hoarded, and so it was kind of just a representation of how many families were living in Spain and just the conditions of it and how severely it impacted their moods as well. Andrea starts to see beauty in the city of Barcelona as she is trying to separate the conflicts occurring from her home and her inner peace and find her inner peace. An example of this is shown when she comes across the Barcelona Cathedral, which is shown here on the map, and states, "It sunk among damp houses that were built without style amid those venerable stones, but that the years had also covered with a patina of unique charms, as if they had been infected by beauty." And that was on page 92 of the book Nada. So she becomes absorbed with the beauty of the cathedral and how its presence is illuminating and greatly contrasts from the houses that surround it. The setting of the beginning of this chapter was at night, and the area that the cathedral was in appeared to be dark and cold. The author Carmen Laforet utilizes imagery through descriptive senses to capture the mysterious and creepy tones of the city at night. The settings, colors, conditions of the home, and the complex family dynamic of the novel creates a clear depiction of how the Civil War has affected the family. Our final destination on our exploration of the different forms of art in Barcelona is Las Ramblas, which is shown here in the map. The documentary, Anarchism in Barcelona, expressed Spaniards' shared opinions of not wanting to revisit the past and wanted to block it out of their memories, like it had never even occurred. Throughout Barcelona's history, and as expressed in the documentary, the red A, which is a symbol, is shown in many areas of Spain to symbolize pain and tragedy from the war. This A would be spray painted in various locations. And it was a constant reminder of the tragic memories, the violence, corruption, pain, and death. The division of the country caused violence and hatred among the people living there. Also, Barcelona is suffering from a very poor economy, and its civilians are living as squatters, and a lot of the civilians were living as squatters, meaning that they lived in abandoned homes without traditional payment. So the documentary addresses the street Las Ramblas, which is located in central Barcelona and is a huge tourist attraction. What many do not know is that this street is where thousands of men and women protested during the division with faces of hope and carried a vision of new world on their hearts. Instead, years of tension between the two sides and the fascist control of Francisco Franco contributed to the start of the Spanish Civil War. That concludes my city walk of looking through the problem lens of the arts of Barcelona. We have looked at different artworks, fictional literature, and films that help us depict what the civilians were going through during the Civil War and after the Civil War, and it really grasped the emotional effects of that. So thank you again for coming with me on my city walk, and have a great day. Thank you.